Hello, this is Pastor Velda. I am interrupting your day to talk to you about the word resilience. I've been working on a study about resilience, and I'm eager to know how you feel about that word. Do you understand that word? Are you resilient? And I'd appreciate your feedback. When I think about my life, one word defines me: resilience. Resilience is my truth. Resilience is my testimony. Resilience is my survivor. My middle name is Rosette, and for as long as I can remember, I've used that R to stand for resilience. Resilience means the ability to recover, to adapt, to endure hardship, and keep moving forward. But for me, resilience is more than just a definition. It is the reason why I am still standing today. Because life didn't start easy for me. I experienced challenging situation at the very early age of 5 years old, at an age when a child should feel safe, loved, and protected. I was learning pain. At 15, I became pregnant and I left my family home. By 16, I was married. And that marriage became another place of abuse. I stayed in that marriage for 5 years of surviving, 5 years of enduring, 5 years of learning what it meant to carry pain and yet keep functioning. And while I was living through that pain, I was also working. In 1974, I began working as a matron at a county jail in Florida. Think about that. A young woman that is carrying her own trauma while stepping into one of the hardest systems in society. And let me tell you something, it was not easy, because in those days, women were not readily welcomed in corrections. I entered corrections at a time when women had to prove themselves every day. And all of this was happening during the civil rights movement down south. A time of tension, struggle, and change in America. So I was fighting battles on every front, battles at home, battles at work. And reality was I was fighting battles inside of myself. But resilience kept speaking, and it was saying, keep going. In 1977, I moved to California. And almost immediately, I'm honest enough to admit that I entered another abusive relationship. Like many survivors, I thought love could save me. I thought somebody else could heal me. But healing doesn't come from another person. Healing comes when you face your truth. And when I reached out for help, even to the church, I was shunned. And let me tell you, that pain hits differently. Because when you are hurting, rejection can feel like confirmation that you should be alone, that you're not worthy of help. But I learned something. Sometimes the place that you expect to receive healing, they may fail you. But I'm here to tell you that God never will. And even when people turned away, purpose kept calling my name. In 1978, I started working with the California Department of Corrections as a clerical worker, before CDCR put the value of rehabilitation in its name. In 1982, I became a correctional officer at California Medical Facility. And in 1984, I transferred to San Quentin. And understand this, with every promotion, with every transfer, with every advancement, it was built on the shoulders of a woman who refused to quit. In 1987, I was promoted to correctional sergeant. In 1989, I became a correctional counselor. And then in 1990, something happened that changed my life. San Quentin and Sonoma State offered a substance abuse certification program for individuals to learn how to work with the incarcerated. And I was selected to participate. What looked like a professional development became personal transformation. Because for the first time, I began learning about trauma. And suddenly, my life began to make sense. My pain had language. My behavior had roots. My survival had context. And that changed everything. Since 1990, I've invested in learning and becoming a traumaologist. I am a student of trauma because I have survived trauma. And I made a decision right then, right there. My pain would not be wasted. I turned my wounds into wisdom, my scars into strategy, my suffering into service. And that is resilience. But let me be honest. Resilience does not mean perfection. Oh, I failed. Many times I failed. I had my car repossessed. I found myself homeless. In fact, I had my home foreclosed on by Wells Fargo. I was one of the first in 2008 in San Joaquin County in Stockton to lose their home. I know what it feels like to build something and watch it collapse. I know what it feels like to start over, to rebuild, to recover, to wonder if you have enough strength left to keep going. But every time life knocked me down, I got back up. Not because it was easy, but because quitting was not an option. And somebody listening to me needs to hear this. Failure is not final. Pain is not permanent. And your struggle is not your identity. Your truth matters. You may ask, why do I share such a personal story at this juncture in my life? I truly believe that somebody listening today needs to hear this. Friends, domestic violence remains a pervasive and underreported issue in the United States. In 2025, approximately 10 million people experience domestic violence annually, with nearly 20 people per minute abused by an intimate partner. About 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe physical violence, sexual abuse, or stalking by an intimate partner, often resulting in injury, PTSD, or use of victim services. Psychological aggression affects both genders equally, with over 61 million women and 53 million men reporting such abuses in their lifetimes. Which tells me, as I think about who might be listening, you might just be that one. You might understand what I'm talking about. Or you may know that one. Or you may have witnessed, seen it with your own eyes. And I suggest to every person listening, you must admit your truth, if only to yourself. Tell yourself the truth about your pain. Tell yourself the truth about your failures. Tell yourself the truth about your wounds. You believe you more than you believe anybody else. But because what you refuse to confront, you cannot heal. And what you refuse to heal, you will definitely repeat. Resilience requires honesty. Resilience requires courage. Resilience requires ownership. And resilience requires honoring your pain, not burying it, not denying it, not pretending it did not happen. Honor it, because pain has lessons. Pain has purpose. Pain has power, and it will teach you if you let it. I kept fighting uphill. Uphill battles build strong legs, strong faith, strong character, strong visions. I stand here today not as a victim of what happened to me, but as evidence what can happen when you refuse to surrender. My story is proof that trauma does not get the final word, proof that abuse does not get the final word, proof that failure does not get the final word. Resilience gets the final word. And if I can leave you with anything today, it is this. Your past may explain you, but it does not define you. Your wounds may shape you, but they do not have to destroy you. Your failures may humble you, but they do not disqualify you. Keep fighting, keep climbing, keep healing, keep growing, keep becoming. Because resilience is not about how many times life knocks you down. It is about how many times you decide to rise. And I am still rising. Thank you, and God bless you.